Hello, welcome back. Nigel here with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench. Part 6 now of this build. We're still on pack 5. This is the Hachette Lancaster, the Hachette Lancaster Bomber B.III, the Dam Buster one, and this is the revisited version. So this is where we've gone in and repainted stuff, modified stuff, and now we're going to be fitting these photo etch seat belts that came from the border model kit. And we've got all this stuff here which has all been repainted. We've got the pedestal here which has all been repainted, and the black bit there is to represent the column that supports the instrument panel. And yeah, so in this video we're going to get all this together and then hopefully move on to pack 6, which is the instrument panel and stuff, as you can see here. Instrument panel, control column, rudder pedals, throttle levers and all that sort of thing. So we're going to see how that all goes. Don't know if it's going to be part of this video. We shall see how we go. So I've got my super glue at the ready. I've got the VMS 4PE. This is the 5K Flexi 4PE, which is the clear one, and I've got the black thin. I'm going to use the clear one for the harnesses, and I'll use the black for pretty much everything else. So the harnesses, what I've done it off camera because I had to do it on a magnifier, but this is one of the beauty of using brass harnesses for Sutton harnesses, is that they have these brass eyelets on them. And what you can do, I don't know if you can see there, what you can do is just come along with a knife and just gently scrape the paint off of those eyelets, the raised areas, and you expose brass. So it makes them look really realistic, and they look great when they've had a wash on them, which we're going to do with this. I'm also going to give this a semi-gloss varnish before we do anything with it, because we've got the gloss on the seat belts, we've got the gloss there. I want to tone it down so the wash takes better. So first thing I'm going to do here is fit the seat belts. The seat's all together, the seat's all painted. We saw all that in part 5. So we're going to fit these belts. Now, on one of these belts, I noticed that after I painted it, you need to be very careful with your annealing. You can see that I got one end of this too hot. There we go. And it's slightly distorted it. So we're going to make sure that one goes underneath everything else so it doesn't show off. Now, the actual mounting point for these is around about here. Okay, so it's sort of below that corner. So I'm just going to scrape a bit of paint away. And if we need to do any touch-up afterwards, we will, but generally the washes and stuff will hide it. So that's basically where our seatbelt's going to attach. So what I'm going to do here is just get my seatbelt in position, make sure it's the right way around and don't drop it. Get it in position. Okay, so I've got that end like that, and then I'm going to fold this over. Remember, it's annealed, so it folds over lovely, and it just lays down flat like that. Okay, and then I can hold that other end in position. Sorry, I need to hold it in the other hand. Hold that like that. That's in position there. I can grab some of this clear glue. Okay, and just put a drop underneath and then just press that down. And that's where I scrape the paint off. Scrape the paint off the back of the belt as well, so that then we're not just gluing paint to paint, we're gluing brass to plastic. It's still not a wonderfully strong joint, but it's better than paint to paint. And you can see that's taken. Okay, so now we can lay that across the seat, and as I say, I want to hide this, so I'm going to have it kind of there like that, so it's underneath those straps. And then what we can do is just come along, same thing again, drop of glue underneath, make sure we don't touch the seat, and then just a little bit of pressure on the top, just hold that down, and it should go down and stay down. Then what I do is push on with a cotton bud, and then any excess glue that's going to ooze out is soaked up by the cotton bud. So you can see there's one belt fitted, so it's not too difficult at all. I've got this other light on which is messing things up. There we go, that's better. It's the problem with it, everything's black, it's very difficult to see, but you can see that one there. So I'm going to do the same on the other side, make sure it's the right way around. As you can see, I've already scraped the paint. I'm going to position the belt where I want it to go. The end of this one's okay, so what I'm going to do with this one is have it, it seems to have a twist in it, so we're going to have that one sort of coming down like that. Okay, it's okay to have a twist in them because they are like a sort of satchel-like material, and they don't just sort of lay flat, they tend to sort of not go tightly over a corner. So we can just put a drop of glue on the back of there, just like so. It doesn't need too much, and then I can grab a cotton bud and just push down and get that held in position. That hasn't wanted to take, so I'm going to get another drop of glue. Maybe I didn't get enough on there. You get a drop on the back of there and then push that down. Just like so, and it doesn't want to hold. I'll hold up my finger, the warmth will help it. No, it really doesn't want to go. This is because the camera's on. It's being a pain. If you can hear a noise in the background, sorry, that's my tumble dryer. So there we go. Hopefully that'll go down now and stay down. That's why I've used the clear glue, then it doesn't make any mess on anything. These can sometimes be a pain to make them stay. So I'm going to hold the sides, push this belt down. It doesn't need to be tight over that corner, but I do want it to be laying flat on the seat. So we'll get some glue under there, and then we'll get some glue under the belt. And then just push it down, hold it down. Once again, it doesn't want to stay down, come on. And there we go. Now you can see we've got our waist belts down on the seat, nice and flat, so they look like they're heavy. I've seen so many models where their seat belts are floating in air, you know. They are a thick material, so they do, as you can see here, the way I've got on radius around there, they're not folded tight around. They're not like cotton. They won't just sort of, you know, they won't tightly fold around something. They will kind of form a radius around it. They sort of come up. They have a gap on the corners, just like you can see there. There's a gap underneath that one on the corner. Okay, so try and bear that in mind. Now this one here is going to be quite tricky. Whoops, I almost dropped it on the floor again. I've dropped it about 3 times. Now what I've done is I've cleaned all the paint off the top edge, and I've cleaned the paint off the bottom edge of this bracket. Now this is going to be quite tricky, maybe quite messy, we shall see. What I'm going to do is put this in position, like so. It needs to be tipped round a bit, there we go. I'm going to have to do this with my magnifier, so I'm afraid you're not going to see me do this, but all I'm going to do is put that down like that, so it's underneath. So it's underneath that bracket that we put on. And I'm going to push some super glue. What I'm going to do is get some super glue on a blade. Okay, just like so. Some super glue on there. I'm just going to push the knife in. I'm going to push the glue in. I'm not doing it now because I can't see it properly. I want to make sure it's centre. So I'm going to get under the magnifier and I'll be back. Okay, so that's all glued now. I used the clear and the black, so that's nice and securely glued in place. So now we can grab some of our clear. I think the problem is I don't have enough in here. No, I'm kind of running out, so I'm going to grab another little drop. This is the one. It's called 4PE and it's bloody brilliant. It's it remains flexible and it dries very quickly. The sort of standard off-the-shelf super glues you get at your pound shops and stuff, they're all very good, but they do dry rock hard, and after a while they crystallise and they just turn to nothing. So what I'm going to do now is put my finger on the back here. You can see the front as I push the back down. As I push the back, the front goes down. So I'm just going to lightly push the back. Once I've got a drop of glue on there, and I'm going to put a drop of glue on this central piece here. And then I'm just going to just hold it down like that, and hopefully it will stay. I'm not pushing it too tight. I don't want it all to just all perfectly conform into each other. It's not tissue paper, it's thick. I haven't put enough glue on there. I've also got those ridges on the seat, so I've got to make sure that that should be enough. That's lots of this going on there. Notice I'm not using accelerators because they can make things very brittle. I've got a drop of glue on the front of the seat there, so that's where it pays dividends having the clear. It's still not going down. Come on, go down. There we go, it's gone down now. Now we could leave it at that. and that's fine. But the trouble is with that, if you leave it like this, you've got these side bits here which are sort of not glued down and a bit floppy, and if you catch them, if you do any dry brushing like that, you'll regret it. So what we're going to do is just lift that one up a tad. Whoops. Get some glue underneath. I can see that I've got some actually on the top there, so what I'm going to do is push this down with a cotton bud, and that will soak up anything that comes up through those holes, anything that's on the top. It'll soak it up, and you can see that stayed down already. Now that little clasp on the side there, I'm going to try and glue that down. It's not easy, but I worry about catching it. You know, when I start brushing on washes or whatever, I worry about catching it, and I'd rather not rip it off. There we go, that stayed in place. Now this one here I could just leave, but I really want to put something under it, so I'm going to get the glue, make sure I've got some on there. See, that's the beauty of that black stuff. You can see how much you've got on there, you can see where it's gone, you can see everything. And there we are. That's our, that hasn't stayed down. These Johnson's cotton buds these days are really, really hairy. They're awful. The quality's gone right downhill since they've gone to the paper shafts. They used to be really tightly bound and everything, and now they're just, you can see it's just a ball of fluff. There's hairs everywhere. I like to use them for weathering and stuff, but now you rub them on a surface, it's just, everything just ends up in hairs. And it all gets in your airbrush and everything if you use them for cleaning. So there we go. That's our harness fitted in place, and I think we can agree that looks a lot nicer than what was originally on there. What was originally on there is absolutely fine. As I say, if you're having a pilot in there, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter, you don't need any of this. But you might want to get one of these harnesses and put over his shoulders. But there we go. So that is that in place. So I'm now going to give that a coat of LP23 flat varnish. I know I said semi-gloss. I'm going to use flat because this isn't that flat, to be honest. But that'll give me a nice base to work on and tone everything down, and it will seal everything in as well, and then we can go around and do some detail painting. So I'll get that done and then I'll be back. Right, there's the seat, flat coated, as you can see, all nicely dulled down now the gloss is gone, so we'll leave that for a while just to cure, and then we'll start going in with some washes and make those, you watch those belts pop when we put some brown wash on them. Right, so going back to pack 5 and the instructions, we can see on here, look at the difference in the seat now. Right, we can see on here, okay, that we have step 1 is fitting the stops for the control column. We've got 05J, which is the Bombay doors control. I thought that was the seat heightening. Bombay doors control, that's going in first. Now, I forgot, but it makes sense to not glue this in place, because it's easier to take that out and fit these parts in place, because now you can see what I've got to do is fit this part here. I've already checked the fit, and I've got to fit this part in here, and it's right up against that bulkhead, and it's quite difficult to get it in there. Okay, it'd be a lot easier if you did it before you put that piece in place. So now we've got that in there, we can just grab a drop of the black coming from underneath, let that soak in, and that will do its thing, holding that in. I'm just going to move that away from the side panel just slightly so that we've got a bit of a gap in there because it's right up against it. There we go. And then we've got the we've got all these bits here, which I think did I check the fit of this? I think I did. This is the communications piece, so that's going to go in. I ended up painting this silver. I was going to do it black. So that's just going to go in there, so we can push that down. No, that's too tight. So what I'm going to do is grab my knife, like I always do. I'm just going to cut away part of the D, or the flat of the D, should I say, and that should make things a lot easier to go together. He says. As I say, don't forget, if you want to join in with me, you can go and click on the QR code I'm putting up now, or go to the website. It's there as well, and go and find out how to subscribe, and you'll get all the gifts and everything going through. And if you subscribe, you will get the first issue for $1.99. The second issue will be free, and then from then on it's $10.99 a month, or $10.99 a week, sorry, or per issue. So that is still playing up, so I'm going to have to pull it out. We're scratching all the paint off, which is unfortunate. What I'm going to do, I'm not going to use a sander, I'm going to use a knife. I'm just going to trim away a bit of the sides of the D, just to make the sort of the flat section of the D a bit narrower. I think that will probably help. What I want is things to just drop in, because if they don't drop in, when you put the glue in from behind, it's got nowhere to go. There we go. See, that just drops in nice and easily, just like so. And then drop a glue from in behind, and that will capillary up around and glue that in. And there we go. Just like so. So that's that one in place. Alright. And then we've got those two, we've got the column stops. So there's this one at the front. Short one at the front, as you can see, I've already pre-fitted those. And we've got this one at the back. The longer one goes at the back. That's going in there. And that one could go with going down a bit more. There we go. So I had it off square, that's what the problem was. So we can come in with our glue in the back, some in there, a drop on there, a drop on there, and a drop on there. There we go. And we're all done. So that's step one done. So we've got the bomb door control and the column stops. And then it's asking us in step two, we've got to fit these seat parts. Now I've already check fitted these. So this one is a D section, and the D is facing outwards. So the flat of the D is facing out. That one's going to go in there. Turn over, drop a glue in there, job done. Actually, I wish I hadn't glued that, because it needs to line up with the frame. So what I'm going to do is fit this one, which is also going to go in with the D, the flat at the front. As you can see, these are all pre-fitted by how easy they go together. You need to be cleaning up these parts before you try and put them in, guys. Yes, it's a bit fiddly, but once you've cracked this, then it's plain sailing for quite a few builds then, until we get onto another turret. There we are. I'm just going to drive. Oh, the next bit is fitting the seat frame. That's cool. So the next bit here is fitting the seat frame. Big square lugs, they go at the front. This angled piece here goes at the back. So this is basically going to drop. Whoops. This is basically going to drop down on, go into those holes, and sort of sit over those brackets we've just fitted. Alright, just like that. So down at the back, push it down at the front, push it down at the front, push it down at the back. Make sure it's all gone down nice and home all the way down, otherwise your seat will sit at an angle. I'm not going to glue that yet until I put the seat on, just in case. And you can see now that all these brackets here line up. Okay, that one lines up. So there we are. So that's that all done. As I say, I'm not going to glue those brackets until I know the seat sits nice and square and vertical. And then the next bit, we take this part on the side, and then we put this trim wheel here that's going to go in. I believe this was a push fit. Yeah, that's not going anywhere. That's not going to come out of there. And then coming over, we're going to fit this in. So this is going to fit into the rearmost hole here, and it's got a D-shaped pin on it, so that's going to go in there. And that's quite a snug fit because I've painted it, I think. So what we're going to do is just come in with a stick and sand away the paint from there, and sand away the paint from here on the flat of the D, and then that should just drop in. There we go, just like that. And then again, drop of cement, or drop of super glue, sorry, on the back. Be careful not to glue that seat support. Just give that a twist, get it nice and straight. Make sure it's vertical when you look at it from the front. There we are, that's all lovely. See how lovely all this is looking? Isn't it great? And then next thing is going to be the undercarriage mounting piece. So that's this piece here with the red on it. I did test fit this, didn't I? Yes. But I've since painted it, so it needs some paint removed. And also those mould seams aren't very healthy either. If you want to see this all go together out of the box, go back and watch my Pack 5 video. There we are. So that's sitting in there, lovely. Drop a super glue on there, drop a super glue on there, and that should be enough to hold that in. Make sure it's vertical when you look at it from the front. There we go, that's all nice. You can see there, that's looking lovely. Then next on the block is this part here, 055, and we have to put this in and make sure that when we fit it, this orifice here is facing backwards. So I'm just going to test fit it first, make sure it goes in the hole. It's got a D-shaped pin on it, so you can't really go wrong, and it fits in that hole, and it's like a thing in a top hat. So we really need to get some glue on there. And again, I'm looking at it to make sure that hole is facing back. So that's going into there with that hole facing back, just like so. I've got it slightly facing up, so I'll turn it down a touch. And then we're going to fit this piece here. I've already fitted this. So this is going to go in to those two holes there, and the other end of this hydraulic pipe is going to fit into the hole in the side, just like so, and then give that a push down. That's going to go down in. It's looking like it's gone tight because I've put paint on it, yes. So I'm going to have to clean it up once again. Okay, so we'll scrape some paint. It's that front pin that's tightest. It's always the smallest pins that are tightest, funnily enough. Of course, I should have test fitted all this after I painted it, not before, shouldn't I? So if I remove all the grey paint, we should be at least somewhere near home. So again, grab the tweezers. That's going into there. That pipe's going into there. We just push it down. There we go, it's gone down now. Has it? No, it hasn't. There we are. Went in with a click. So you can see that's in there all lovely. So we'll come in with our glue from the back. Drop of glue in there. And a drop of glue in there. I'm not going to glue the other end of that pipe because it doesn't need to be glued, it's held in there, it's sandwiched. And then we've got this pipe here, 05Q, going on the back. So that one's going to go. I haven't actually test fitted this one. So we've got here, here we have a, you can see an orifice. That one has to go to the left. So that's going to go in there. That one's going to go in there. And they are very, very tight to go in. So what we're going to do here is once again remove seam lines, remove paint, remove whatever. Just like that. They've gone, you can hear it sort of eat its way in. So I'm just going to give that a squeeze. There you go, you hear that click in at the end. And then we'll do the same here, give this one a squeeze. There we are. So that's those pipes in. Okay, you can see there with it all painted different colours, it just adds a bit more interest. It's a bit of artistic license really. And then, going over the page, I think we're going to be fitting the bomb controls. These two pipes, leave those off, they're just going to get broken off. So leave those off until you fit that actually into the fuselage. And then we've got here, we've got the emergency bomb release, and we've got the, what's that one? I can't remember now, 05i, if the magazine is indeed correct. 05i, flap selection handle, and the other one is 05H, which is the manual bomb release, that's right. So we've got this little tiny one here, and this has a D-shaped pin on the bottom. Okay, and that's going to go into that hole there, and the hole is massive, so you have no problem with fitting that one in. So we get a nice big drop of glue and put it on the back of there, and that'll capillary up. Hold that in, just like so. And then we've got this one here, which is the emergency bomb release, and that is going to fit in here. We have again we have a D-shaped hole, flat to the side, and that's going to drop down in there like so. Okay, and then once again, coming from behind, nice big drop of glue on there. There we are, that's that in. What I'm going to do now is dry fit the seat and make sure it goes in straight and everything. So the seat, we've got two square holes in the bottom there, you can see, and they're going to fit over those square pedestals. Now I've already done some cleanup here because I don't want to be forcing the seat down obviously when the belts are there. So that seat's going to sit like that, so there you go, you can see the seat is nice and straight, kind of. Just give it a bit of a shove. Yeah, that's good enough. So what we can do is come in from behind here now, drop a glue, and we can glue these four. I have to get some more glue, I think. We can glue these 4 points. If you wonder why I'm gluing from behind, it's just a lot cleaner way of doing it. And you've got gaps, and the glue will capillary up in. It'll get sucked in around the pin, and it will hold it in and everything. So there we are. So that is, you can basically see that is the basic construction. So what I'm going to do now is do some oil work on them. So I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, so I've got here some brown wash. This is the Modeller's World oil wash. You can use any, this is black brown, you can use any brown wash, you know, Tamiya panel line or whatever. What I'm doing is just going to brush this on these seat belts. And you will see that where I've got the buckles and where those brass rivets and everything are, it will all get highlighted and it'll all look lovely. You can see now how I got that burnt end covered up. Okay, so we can run that in just like so, and then if you want to we can put some in the seat base as well. That'll pick up on those ridges and it'll give us a dark line where those ridges are in the seat cushion, as you can see. And we can also put some on the armrest just to add a bit of patina, because what it'll do, it'll dry like blotchy. Hopefully you can see that there. It's wet and shiny. When it dries out, it'll look amazing. It always looks really well. What I've used on those belts is a very, very light brown colour. Now this wheel here, I want to highlight it, make it pop. I'm just going to go around with this brown wash, paint the whole thing, and because it's matte in finish, it'll take on a slightly darker shade. As you can see, what it's done, it's highlighted all the ridges and everything on there. Do the same on here, highlight the corners in here. Same on that little communications connector there. Okay, there we are, and then we can add some detail behind here. We can start doing some silver painting and stuff on these unions. So what I'm going to do is get my wet palette out and I'll show you how I do all that. Okay, so I ended up not getting the wet palette out. I just put a drop of the Viejo aluminium Model Air in on a bit of on a Tamiya pot, and then just brushed that on those pipes. I left those larger raised areas there in a darker grey, and then I also painted the top of those handles there. It's just to sort of, you know, add more colours and give it a bit of variation. And you can see here how that wash has dried. And what we can do now is come in with a cotton bud. These are the ones that Simon got me. These aren't the horrible fluffy things from Johnson's. We can just brush off the excess, and because we've got a matte varnish on there, what will happen is it will stain. It kind of stains it. If you use a gloss, it just wipes off and it only remains in the recesses, but here it stains it. And this is why I was talking about having the belts glued down, making sure they're nice and secure, so that when you start rubbing, dry brushing, whatever, then you don't start pulling things off. So there we go, and then we can just rub a greasy finger on there, whatever. And you can see we've got a little bit of a sheen to that leather. I think you'll agree that looks lovely. So what we can do now is grab some super glue. I need another drop of super glue, which I should have done when the camera was off. I'm sorry. Another drop of super glue in there, nothing much. And then we can glue the seat in. So we'll put some glue in here on the sides, because that's where it contacts. Get some on the sides there like that. And then what you could actually do is leave this seat out if you want to, because it is quite vulnerable. But on the other hand, you could always actually just fit the glazing. Just fit the glazing on and tape it in place, and that will protect everything. So there we go. So there's our pilot seat installed, new belts, all fitted. Where's the contact points at the back? It's at the bottom there, isn't it? So I'm going to grab some of that super glue. In fact, we'll lift that seat out again. I'm going to put a drop on there and a drop on there, just to make sure it's held in nicely. And we'll put a little drop more in here and a drop more in there, just to make sure. And then we can fit the seat onto those two vertical pins, push the seat down and make sure it's down at the back. And there we go. And that, my friends, is job done. I'm just going to make sure, I think I saw that seat frame move then. So just want to make sure it's glued in. Drop there, drop there. And then we can just push down, make sure everything's gone together nicely. And there we go, guys. What I'm going to do now is go and grab the other one so you can compare notes. And here we go. So you can see there on the left hand side is the original, and there's and there's mine. So just a slight difference in the tone of green, that's the only real change there. But the seat's now black, the cushion's darker, the yellow dot is very slightly smaller, and the harness has changed. So a couple of small mods, just a couple of changes of colour of paint stuff. And there you go. So there we are, that's that. Right, let's have a look at pack 6. Okay, so in part 6, or pack 6, you can see we've got the turtle deck there, we've got the instrument panel, the gauges, we've got the throttle quadrant bits there, we've got the actual throttles themselves, rudder pedals, control column, and compass, and a few other bits and pieces. So what we can do here is it's starting off here with fitting the aerial to the turtle deck. Here's the pack here. I've actually added this little bag here, which is those 2 pipes from step 5. So we've got that bag there, and those 2 bags there, and there's the remains of the photo etch. I don't want to use any more belts. So this is going to have to change colour because they've done this in an interior green colour, I believe. Hang on a second. This should actually be camouflage green, not interior green. So it should match that there, and it doesn't. So it needs to be darkened up. It needs to be painted. So I'll have to repaint that. What they did when they built the nose section, they actually built this section up separately. And what they did, they painted all of the area around the cockpit and everything. And then when they actually painted the whole aircraft, all they had to do was mask the glazing. And that area under there would have been green, the same colour as the camouflage here. You'll see on some aircraft they have like a type B camouflage where it's reversed. And you'll see that if they've been repainted, then that area in there will be green and the area outside will be brown. It's a very odd looking thing. I have had conversations with Richard Alexander. He seems to think this is probably like an RLMO2 colour in there. But I personally believe it's the same colour as the green here, but the actual perspex is changing the hue through in the photograph. So that's my belief, and I'm sticking to it. There you go. So there we go. Right. So we've got that piece there is going to have to be repainted in camouflage green. Then we've got these bits here, which is the control column, and we've got the loop in there as well. So let's get these parts out. So the loop can stay in its bag. I don't want that. What we'll do is just fit that, and then we'll give it a wash to highlight the details. So here we've got the control column is going to be glued on the front of here. Now on this base, we've got a great big seam line, as you can see. So I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to scrape that away, and then what we'll have to do is paint this like a leather colour, and then we'll get a wash on there. So we're going to get rid of that big seam. We could get a little sander and go around the outside edge. Just like so. I've just thought, today is the 30th of April. 2024. I've just made my my April updates video, which you all love, I know. And I've just thought I need to take Jess out. Took Jess out at lunchtime. I need to take her out again, don't I? It's just gone 6 o'clock now, so Jess needs to go for a walk. So we have that there, and we have a great big seam line and a sprue nib up the side. So I'm going to grab a stick and just sand away that seam line, just like so. Same on this side, there'll be a seam line up there. Blow the dust off the bench. And then we've got the seam line underneath. I always remove these because they actually affect the fit. I'm scraping away. Maybe a straight knife would be better. Just get the seam lines off the pins as well, because they often make it a tight fit, and then we'll just see how it fits. We'll dry fit it now. And it is very tight. So what we're going to do is probably drill out the holes, but just for now what I'll do is remove that paint from there. So this is going to apply even if you're building it straight out of the box, or straight out of the bag should I say. So that is going to go in there. There we go, that's better. It's still tight. So what we're going to do, we're going to measure those pins. So I'm going to measure these pins, and what we're going to do is see what size they are. So that one is 1.5 and that one is 1.9. So we can grab a 1.5mm drill from here. And that is absolutely flying through there, so that shouldn't be a problem. And then the 1.9, what I'm going to do is grab a 2mm drill, because I don't have a 1.9mm to hand. I have a 1.9, but I don't want to get it. It's a nightmare to get it. And that one's absolutely flying through as well. So there's something else wrong. So it's obviously the spacing of the holes, because the actual pin there has got in lovely now. Look. Sods law. Okay, so that's all good. Clean up all that mess. What we're going to do, we're going to have a look at this control column, and yes, we've got a seam line all the way around. Control wheel, sorry. So we'll just get rid of that. I'm looking to see where the sprue gate is. Probably down there. And then just with a knife I'm just going to make sure that we've got into all the, whoops, where did that go? Behind it. It was hiding behind my tub of cotton buds. Just make sure we get into all the corners, just like so. And also get rid of the seam lines on the inside. Remember guys, this is all about just improving it. It's just taking that Hachette part work one little step further and improving the look. It's not something that has to be done. I just need an eyepiece a minute. I can't see a sprue gate on here. I don't want it to show up after it's painted. Okay, a little bit more sanding to do down there. A little bit more sanding to do down there. There we go. And then I'm going to grab a sponge, a 1000 grit sponge, and that'll just clean up the radius off any little flat spots I might put on there. And there we are. I can get a skinny sponge, a narrow one, unfortunately no longer available. There we go. Happy with that. So we can grab a drop of super glue. We can use the clear stuff because there's plenty there. We can put some in that hole. I didn't test fit it, did I? That's very naughty of me. And then that is going to press into there. And that's that done. Now remember, if you're using the Wings cockpit figures and you don't have them yet, the pilot comes with the control column and the wheel, so don't fit this because you get it in the it's actually molded onto the hand of the pilot, and then you can just fit it in. So we'll let that dry for a few minutes, and then we'll give that a coat of paint. I don't think I'm going to bother painting the instrument panel. In fact, there's really nothing much to do with the instrument panel at all, because it is very, very nice. I suppose we could add some detail, a bit of dry brushing or something. Let's have a look, we'll see what we can come up with. Okay, moving on through the book. So done the column, we haven't glued it down obviously because we haven't painted it. Now we're looking at the instrument panel. What they're telling us to do is put this piece in from behind. So this is the piece with the gauges on there. If you want to, what you could do is cut a piece of acetate, thin clear plastic, put it in there, and then you'll get like shiny gauges. What I'm going to do is actually put in some clear varnish and just let it go in there, and then it'll sit there and it'll build up. So what I'm going to do now is actually glue this in so it doesn't get pushed out by the varnish. I don't want the varnish to leak out everywhere. So what I'm going to do is, first thing I do is get rid of these ejector pin marks. There's one there. I'm just going to scrape that away. Okay, so that's that gone. And then there's one there which I'm going to get rid of. Alright, make sure we've got no bits of plastic swarf in the edges of those gauges, because that'll look awful. So what we can do there is grab our little burr tool, wherever it may be. Where are you? Here you are. And then just come in from behind and just clean that up, just to take away any fluffy bits. So that's that dealt with. There's no ejector pin marks in there. Now I've noticed there is one here, but we have to be careful how we remove it, because we'll remove colour otherwise. We're just going to, that one's raised as you can see. I'm just going to scrape that away so we get a nice flat face. Now unfortunately we've got one there which is right under that gauge. I may be able to get rid of that, a little bit of it there. There we are. So what we can do now is get this together, push it up nice and tight. You can hear it sort of squeezing its way in. Now the instrument panel, I'm just looking around, we've got an ejector pin mark there on the back which is going to look horrible when you look through the windscreen, so we're going to sand that away, or scrape it away, and then we'll come in with a sanding stick. Just like so. And then that's all good. So what we can do now is get some super glue. I'm not going to use Tamiya Extra Thin because this is, I think this is ABS and it tends not to glue it very well. So I'm going to grab some of my black thin super glue into our tray, or Pringles lid, just like so. And then again, using the knife blade, this is a great way of applying glue. Use the knife blade, just put it in like that and let it run into the join. Just like so, you can just run the knife blade along the join, as you can see there, and it will capillary in. And what I'm trying to do is seal it in. Just like so. All round there, just dab it on and it will go in and it will flow around the joint. You can do that with already clear super glue as well. So that'll go in, seal that job done. Right, now we'll let that dry and then we'll put clear in the front and we'll put clear in the other gauges as well, and then we'll put some decals on, especially at the top here where it's really noticeable. Got the altimeter and everything up there. So we'll wipe that glue off that blade, clean it off. Now then, that part there needs to be painted. I'm also going to paint this so it matches, because as you can see it doesn't match the colour there. So what I'm going to do is mask off that silver. So I'm going to grab a piece of, oops, Is 6mm going to be wide enough? There's nothing in there. What's the point in having a Tamiya tape holder that doesn't hold any tape? 6mm is wide enough. That's perfect. So that can go over there. And then we can use our nice sharp fresh blade just to cut through there and get that off of there, just like so. Get rid of this piece of tape off my finger, go away, thank you. And then down here, where does the silver finish? It finishes in the root, so we just use the back of the blade, just push the tape in and then just slice it off. And come on, get hold of it. There we go. I think my tweezers are bent on the ends. Right, so that's that bast off. I didn't cut that very well there, did I? So I'm going to get another piece of this that I've just put down there, and I'm going to put that across there. That's better. There we are. Right. And then what we can do is on the sides, we can use the knife to just trim. I don't know if it's just me, but I think these knife blades aren't as sharp as they normally are. This is a brand new blade, look at it, it will not cut it. It will not cut that tape, it's pulling it off rather than cutting it. This is crazy. Ugh. I hate it when this happens. This is one of the biggest problems with Tamiya tape, it's very sort of rubbery. It's sometimes very difficult to cut, so what I'm doing now is just scraping it to scrape through the tape, and hopefully it will come away. Oh, come on! Okay, we got there in the end, blimey. So, it's often easy to cut it before you put it in. You've got little bits of tape everywhere, that's the trouble. So this piece here is going to go on the back. This is like a blanking piece, so that's going to go in there. And what I'm going to do is once again grab my knife into the super glue and run it round that seam there. It's not that important because it's not really visible unless you look up through the nose, and the turret hides most of this. But it's just good practice, isn't it, to not leave gaps everywhere. There we go. Wipe the blade off again and leave that to dry. We've got the instrument panel drying. That's looks like it's drying very nicely. That's all done. That can be glued onto the instrument panel. They've painted this area here grey. It's actually, this is the compass, and I can't remember what that is there, but that should actually all be black. It's the actual compass itself that should be grey. So what we'll do is we'll put this back on the instrument panel, and what I'm going to do is somehow, I think, mask this off and paint it, and then we'll give it a dry brush. Or maybe I'll just mask off, maybe I should just paint this separately and then put it on after. It doesn't fit in there at all, so it needs some proper clean up. So always start with the flat on the D, I always do anyway. Where's my knife gone? There it is, it's on the burr. That's gone in like that, and then this is going to go in, there we go, fits beautifully now, look. So that's going to go in like that. I guess I could brush paint it, couldn't I? But I don't really want to paint the whole instrument panel, but I could actually brush paint around that area. So what we'll do is we'll glue that in. We will glue that in now, and then we can paint it all as one rather than have a lot of separate pieces. Now the rudder pedals, I'm going to go for green. I think some would say they should be black, but I'm going to say they should be green, because that's what I like. And then I think we'll probably brush paint this, and we're going to add some dials here, 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 and over here on the compass and there as well, and that will really make this pop out. And we use the Airscale decals for that again. On the subject of Airscale, good old Peter over at Airscale is a great guy. They make an aftermarket upgrade for the Hong Kong models kit. Okay, so this is a complete There's a sheet of acetate as I was talking about earlier. This is a complete upgrade for the cockpit of the Lancaster. Now you can see this one only has the two main units there. The dam bus just had an altimeter at the top so that the pilot didn't have to keep looking down. So that's why you've got that extra one on the top there. Okay, so we know that's an altimeter. So decals, add decal to the kit compass. So we've got a compass decal in there, but we're not going to be using this. You can see that if you, basically what it consists of, you have a, where did that acetate go? There it is. So clear you can't see it. You have a sheet of nickel silver or nickel steel photo etch. Okay, you can see the beautifully detailed instrument panel on there. And then you get a decal that goes in behind it. So basically you mount that decal onto that plate and then you glue that plate behind that one. And then what you see through your instrument panel is some lovely gauges, and you put the sheet of acetate in between. In fact, I'll get this out so you can see how it looks. The acetate goes on it. Obviously you cut it out to the right shape, and then when you put your instrument panel over, you have it like that. Okay, and then when you catch it in the light, you get the glazing shining in the light. Okay, and it looks bloody beautiful. Now if you want to use this set on this model, I think you'll have to do a bit of surgery, because if we look at it, we can see the contour across the top and everything is the same. That's all good, but it's wider at the bottom. Okay, so you have to trim the edges off. But on here you get all the throttle levers and everything, which are more accurate than the ones you get in the Hachette model. But the ones in the Hachette model are absolutely perfectly adequate. You know, even the border model one has plastic molded ones. So, you know, the ones in the ones you get in this kit are perfectly adequate. So there we go. That's the, and you also get the engineer's panel. You get the navigator's panel. Remember we did this one earlier, and then you've got the fuse panel there as well. You get them all in there, so that's all nice. So very nice set. I have actually done, in fact I'm going to take that acetate out of there. I'm going to put that in there. We'll put the acetate on the back. We'll put this in here. Put it away for safekeeping, because we don't want to go splashing anything on those decals and ruining them, because I have this for another project. Oh, come on. Okay, so we got all our painting done. You can see we've got the turtle deck done now, and it very closely matches that green there. It's plenty good enough, because when you see it inside the glass, it all changes colour anyway. So that's cool. We've also got the underneath and interior green colour. This is actually my own mix. It's not my own mix, I got it offline. If you look on, sorry, online, not offline. If you look on, if you search Tamiya British dark green, you'll find a mix. I think it's XF. I think it's XF62 and XF67. I think is the mix, and maybe a bit of brown as well. But it's a lot dark, a hell of a lot darker than the real colour green. I'm really starting to not trust those real colours. They just don't seem right. We got the control column done there with the brown on the bottom, and we'll add some oils to there to make that a bit more poppy. And the rudder pedals were repainted in the green after all the seams and everything were cleaned up. So we have the instrument panel. Now these gauges, as you can see, are very dull. I want to make them shine. So what I'm going to do, you're probably asking, why didn't you just paint it gloss before you put it in? They're very deep, so I want to sort of try and fill them up a little bit with clear. So I've got, this is Tamiya X22. Okay, so this is just a clear acrylic varnish. In fact, it's probably better to take it off that backing. And then what we'll do is just put a drop in here. It doesn't matter if we get some on the surface. We'll just basically fill up each hole with this clear. A great big drop in there, just let it run around. Just like so, and that will dry nice and glossy. It's going to have to be left overnight. We can't start playing with this straight away. go. And the little tiny bits that we've got on the surface will practically dry to nothing. There we go. And then what we can do is just scrape them or whatever. This actually shrinks back quite a lot. Now you can see where I sealed it in from behind. It's because I wanted it, I didn't want it all to just leak out. As you can see there, when we catch it in light now, we've got a glossy glass lens on there. I'm also going to put some wherever I'm going to put a decal, because I did notice when we put those decals in the navigators area, the air scale ones, they really didn't like it. They wanted a gloss coat, so put decal in there, put decal in there. And this stuff really shrinks back when it dries, so don't worry about that too much. I'm going to put a couple of drops in here as well. Okay. Now what we can do is take a cotton bud, just moisten the surface and maybe remove most of the excess. As I say, I'm going to go around and brush paint this anyway. If I spray it, I'll have to mask all these dials off. Okay, so we can leave that to dry. I think we're going to be putting a decal on there, there and there. So we'll put some gloss down on there. I know we're going to be putting some on the compass, and we're going to be putting some on there as well. That's probably the drift or something there. In fact, those two there don't have gauges, I don't think. Just in case, it can't hurt to put a bit of gloss on there. You can see how much it's shrinking back already. There we go. So I think we'll call it a day there, guys, because we're on the hour. So I'll see you back in part 7, and we'll finish off this instrument panel, and then we'll move on to pack 7. So as I say, there's been a lot to do in these last 2 bits, 5 and 6. There's been a lot. So moving forward is going to be much faster. Okay, so I'll see you all soon. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.